Let's bring this meeting to order. We have a quorum, and I'd like to go to the agenda and move that we adopt an amended agenda, and that is taking the agenda that's been posted and deleting from it the Black Coffee Trammell Crow discussion, the Trammell Crow remaining MOA discussion, and the Conduit Road liquor license discussion, and pushing the Millie's liquor license settlement agreement to the last official action.
Second.
All in favor of this amended agenda? 4 votes. So let's go on to Officer McElwee. Could you please tell us what's going on?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. Well, thank you as always for inviting us here at the 2nd District to your meetings. Really didn't have too much going on last month. We had 22 offenses. Out of the 22 offenses, our biggest thing is theft from automobiles. Again, we had 13 of them. Last month, they were targeting the area around 4800 block of Massachusetts Avenue. And we kind of saturated that with patrols, and they moved away from there. And recently, they've been in the area of 44th Street and New Mexico Avenue, because we just had two theft from autos there. And the same MO, break the windshield or break the window and remove the property from the vehicle. We are shifting some of our resources over there to give that special attention. And while we're on that topic, if you see anybody suspicious, please pass the word on to everybody to call 911 and report anybody you think is suspicious, so we can get out there. Most of our apprehensions actually occur from alert citizens that call us and say they see somebody tampering with a vehicle. And when our officers will respond in there, and they know what they're looking for, and they can kind of sneak attack them in there, or tactically approach them. And we usually get most of our arrests from that. So report anything suspicious. Also, get your things out of your vehicles. Miss Branch, our outreach person here at 2D, went down to New Mexico and 44th today and scouted out the area. And when I say scouted out, she looked inside vehicles to see, what was in the vehicle, and if there was a computer or a bag, she'll put a little flyer on the windshield. I'm happy to say, though, she was out there. Out of the 20 vehicles, she only saw 3. So that's really good. We like to get it down to 0, but we're doing that as well to try to prevent these from happening. Other than that, we had 2 stolen automobiles. I'm going to go over, Officer Mark Panhorst sent me some information about the stolen vehicles. One of them occurred in the 5000 block of Garfield Street on March 18th at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon. Stolen was a white 2021 Honda Accord. Cleaning company employee came to assist on a job, left the vehicle's keys in the vehicle while he went inside to do some work, and the vehicle was taken. The second vehicle was from 5500 block of Carolina Place, March 18th, sometime through the early morning of March 19th, and stolen was a 2023 Honda. One thing that was interesting that Officer Panhorst had told me, and he wanted me to convey this to the residents at this meeting, they've learned, they've seen a rise in the use of, not in our area, but in other areas, not in the city, but in the use of Autel machines. These are vehicle or key reprogramming cloning machines. And what he recommends, what some people do, they can bring their keys in, they hang them on the door inside the house, and your car's within maybe 25 yards proximity. They actually have devices out there now that can clone or send an airwave through there. to read that key fob. He recommended that if you could just, I don't know if you ever heard of Faraday bags. They're bags that they can shield anything wireless that can read through it, and maybe put your keys in something like that. Again, we haven't seen anything out there in our area, but it's just another tool we wanted to throw out there for you if you're interested. Moving into traffic, and then I'll be happy to take some questions. Traffic, we focused on MacArthur Boulevard. I focused particularly on the cut through traffic on Sherrier, Potomac Avenue, Dorset, and Carolina Place. I try to get out there once each week during the evening hours. No major accidents to report. Basically, that's about all that I have. I'm happy to take some questions, concerns, or complaints.
Commissioner Simkowitz?
Officer McElwee, you want to tell us the success story we had with the video?
Okay, sure. Yeah, we did have a theft from auto. Commissioner JP was very helpful. It happened at the area of Foxhall and Q Street
Greenwich.
a week and a half ago.
Greenwich.
What's that?
Greenwich.
Greenwich. I'm sorry. Yeah, Greenwich. And we captured the vehicle in question on video. JP's parents, and thank you for that again, JP. 1 minute. I just lost you.
We can hear you and see you.
All right, I got you back. Sorry about that. We did identify a vehicle through our police techniques that we have out there, as well as the video that was sent. And our detectives are working on that. Again, clear your stuff out of the vehicles because it's just a matter of seconds. The other area that I forgot to mention that they were targeting last week was near the Palisades Library at 4900 V Street. We had 3 thefts from autos there. The same vehicle that was involved with the video that we captured with JP's parents. Open for any other questions, concerns?
Other questions from commissioners? Oh, Commissioner Elkins.
Yes, something that's associated with Metropolitan Police. A number of us had the opportunity on Tuesday night to hear the acting district attorney for the District of Columbia, Mr. Martin, Edward Martin, speak to the community liaison group for the 2nd District, and he spoke for about 50 minutes. And although he and I probably differ on a lot of issues, I heard a couple of things that I felt were encouraging that I wanted to pass on to everyone here tonight if you did not hear them. And let me introduce it by saying that I've been sitting in the liaison committee meetings at times, and also here in the ANC. I noticed over the years that many times our Metropolitan Police prepare a case, send it forward to the district attorney, and it doesn't get prosecuted. And this, I think, has been discouraging to the detectives and others who put a lot of effort into a case, and then it just doesn't get handled at all by the district attorney. So I asked Mr. Martin about that issue, and was he going to have a better coordination between his office and the Metropolitan Police? And he said a couple of things that I thought were, I actually found them encouraging. I hope they turn out to be so, and I thought I'd pass it on. One thing he said was that he felt that the attorneys in that office, which he now administers, were too focused on making sure that they won all their cases, that they were very conscious of the win-lose ratio, and that they were very hesitant to take on cases that they thought they might lose. And he felt that that needed to be changed, that they needed to be able to take more risks and to prosecute more cases. The second thing he said, which was, I think, much more encouraging to me, and that was that it used to be, apparently, that when policemen had cases to bring forward to the district attorney, that they could sit down and discuss the case with the attorneys, go back and forth on the merits of the case and what the evidence was. And that this was very helpful to both sides, both in terms of the prosecutors really understanding the case and the background, the people involved. And secondly, for the officers to have a sense of where maybe they thought they had good evidence, but maybe the prosecutor was saying, I'm not sure I can make a case with this, and that would be very helpful to both sides. And he said that he had established a new policy now that he was just implementing, that on one of the floors, I think it's the first floor, the basement floor of his office, that officers can walk in and meet with prosecutors and have these same kind of discussions they've had in the past. I found this encouraging because I do think that we have a set of professionals in the Metropolitan Police Department who know what they're doing in terms of investigating these cases, and we have a set of attorneys, prosecutors who know their profession about how to prosecute these cases, but there needs to be good communication between these two sets of professionals. And I basically am saying to this group, let's watch to see whether in fact this improves the performance on some of these cases where we've seen that the detectives have really worked hard and they just haven't gone anywhere. So anyway, for all you may be hearing about bad things that are happening, I thought this was a good thing. So I just wanted to pass that on. Good news is important at times. I think this is good news. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Elkins. And I'll leave everybody with this. Again, reminding you of vacation checks. If you're going away, please email me. If you don't have my email, I'm going to put it in the chat box. And I always like to put it out there that we have a ride-along program open to the public. I encourage you to take advantage of it. And again, you can reach out to me and I can set that up and make it happen. With that said, if I don't have any more questions, I'll step aside.
Yeah, Maria Jackson put in a concern in the chat saying that I'm concerned about the speed cars are driving through Foxhall. Cars don't stop for pedestrians on Hawthorne Lane. I just passed that along.
I just looked at it, and thank you for that, Maria. And we will put that on our special attention list. I know they pick up speed coming down that hill, going past Cathedral on Foxhall. So we'll look into that for you. Appreciate it.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you so much, Officer McAlee.
Have a great Easter, everyone. See you next month.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So our moker, I believe Mr. Cox is here today.
Yes, hello everyone.
Hey.
Good to be with you. So a couple announcements. I just want to make everyone aware. First, let me pull it up. Well, I guess I'll just go in chronological order. So on April 13th at 2 p.m., that'll be the Emancipation Day Parade. It's the DC Emancipation, so when slaves in DC were freed. There's going to be a parade around about 2 hours, and then it'll end at Freedom Plaza at 4 p.m. There will be a concert, and then later that evening at I think around 8:30 p.m. there will be a fireworks show. So please come out. Should be a lot of fun and very enjoyable. So please come out and enjoy the parade. DC Health Link, which is a health insurance provider, will be having an event. Let me pull up the location. Sorry, one second. It will be at the Cleveland Park Library on Friday, April 18th from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This event is designed for federal workers who've been impacted by recent changes if they've lost their health insurance. This will be an in-person enrollment pop-up at the library. They'll have free expert help for any questions that folks might have. So if there's anyone that you know who's a federal worker who's recently let go or otherwise lost their health insurance, they're welcome to come to Cleveland Park Library to find out more options for health insurance. And then finally, the Mokers will be at the spring cleaning in Forest Hills Park on Saturday, April 19th at 10 a.m. It'll be a group cleanup, so we hope to have folks out there. We'll have tools available if anyone wants to participate in the cleanup to make everywhere in Ward 3 more beautiful. So please come out for that. And if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Are there any questions from commissioners? I see none.
Got it. I'll put all the info in the chat.
Very good. Very good.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Of course.
Let's go to Councilmember Fruman's office. Ms. Charles is here, I believe.
I am. Good to see everyone. So not much this week. As Councilmember Furman wrote in his latest newsletter, which I can link to if anyone's not subscribed and wanted to be, the turbulence surrounding the continuing resolution at the federal level remains an enormous challenge for the district. The Senate has already passed a measure that would fix an error in the CR that otherwise would prevent the district from spending $1.1 billion in previously approved and locally raised funds during the 6-month balance of the current fiscal year until the October 1st, next start of the next fiscal year. Councilmember Fruman is optimistic at this point that the House will also pass the Senate's proposed fix, as several important stakeholders, including the President, the Chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, and interim attorney for DC, Ed Martin, who was mentioned earlier, have urged the House to move forward with this measure. In the meantime, the Council and Mayor are working together to urge the House to move quickly. At the same time, Councilmember Fruman continues to advocate within the DC government for his FY26 budget priorities, which I can link to as well after I finish speaking, and they're in the newsletter. The House action remains uncertain, and the council budget process has been postponed in part due to that reality. So the mayor was supposed to give her budget to the council today, but that's been postponed because of this situation. Last week, the OCFO, which is the Office of the Chief Financial Officer, informed the council that the executive, meaning the mayor, would be delayed in submitting her proposal, but we'll keep you all updated on her new submission date as soon as we know. Or the Mokers can do that. The latest news also includes resources for residents who have recently lost employment, including resources for unemployment and health insurance, assistance for homeowners and renters, info for students, and more. Residents can find that newsletter. Well, I'll just link to it in the chat, but it's on our website, mattfrumanward3.gov. There is a chance to weigh in on improvements to Rock Creek and Potomac Parkway. So to enhance safety and improve operations, NPS is developing a multimodal safety and operational improvement plan. NPS values community involvement in shaping this project, and residents are encouraged to attend a virtual public scoping meeting on actually tonight, but it goes until 8 p.m. To learn the project. So residents are invited, and they can submit written testimony also online or by mail during the 30-day public comment period, which closes May 2nd. So you have a month from today to submit that. Visit the NPS site, and I will link to that in the chat to submit online comments or mail them to Rock Creek Park, and I will also put that in the chat. And that's all from Councilmember Fruman's office this week.
Yes, commissioners, I see Commissioner Nowak.
Hi, thanks, Nora, for that update. Do you know if the meeting tonight is recorded and will be available online somewhere for those unable to attend the Rock Creek Parkway one?
Right, of course. Let me get back to you on that as soon as I can. I'll look into that right now.
Okay,
and
thank
I
you.
will chat you the answer. How about that?
Perfect.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much. Let's go to, I don't think there's anyone here from DDOT, am I right? Yeah, I don't see anyone from DDOT. So
That's
let me go to American University. Mr. Millison is here?
Yes, I'm here. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great, great. Hello, everybody. Jason Millison, Director of Community Relations from American University. I just wanted to go over a couple quick things as spring is here and April is a busy time for American University. We just onboarded and installed our 16th president, Jonathan Alger, this week. And so we had a massive inauguration ceremony over the past week. Hopefully you saw some things come out of my office for that. Just kind of a week-long celebration of his arrival. And with that, we want to make sure that we're championing some of the different events and things that he's pushing forward to make sure that the community is engaged with the university and always feels welcome to come and experience the spring with us. So a couple things, keeping in the spirit of campus beautification and spring cleaning, we also have a spring cleanup day. It is Tuesday, April 8th. We're accepting volunteers and any neighbors who want to get their hands dirty. American University is, of course, a certified level 2 arboretum. So plenty of fun to be on our campus and assist in spring cleaning with our arboretum manager and the environmental science majors that will be running that event. So that's Tuesday, April 8th at 8 a.m. I'll send some information in the chat about that. A couple more events that I wanted to highlight, and all of these things, of course, are in my neighborhood newsletter, which I will send in the chat and serve a link to that. Another event that's coming up that's going to be very popular is a conversation with Congresswoman Sarah McBride. She is a relatively new Congresswoman. She's an AU grad, and she's also making a lot of waves in the House and really stepping up as a leader in the Democratic Party. This is part of the Civic Life Initiative that President Alger is instituting, which is a series of speaking engagements and student touch points that involve voices from both sides of the aisle, from all across different types of public discourse. So this spring, Sarah is going to be kicking off our first Civic Life event since President Alger's inauguration, and that is going to take place on Wednesday, April 9th at 5:45 p.m. on campus. The location is going to be released soon, but that's going to be a very popular event because it is going to be President Alger and Congresswoman McBride basically sitting down and having a fireside chat, talking about political climate and the discourse and talking about agreeing across or getting along despite disagreements across different backgrounds. So that should be very entertaining and a very popular ticket on Wednesday, April 9th. And then another one that is huge that we're very excited about is on Thursday, April 10th, so the following day, Jeopardy! That's right, your favorite game show. Jeopardy! Is going to be taking a visit over to American University, not the show itself, but an activation that is going to be on the quad. A former champion and a pop-up version of the quiz show is going to be taking up some space during our quad event for students, but neighbors and anyone who's who's around is welcome to come check it out. That is Thursday, April 10th at 12:30 p.m. They're basically going to have the big backdrop. They're going to have real live like buzzers and a power source, and we're going to have one of those former champions basically engaging with people, asking questions. You can take the actual Jeopardy test, the real test that allows you to one day be a contestant. You can do that on site, and there's a bunch of other games and prizes that they have. They'll be doing giveaways, and it's all in accordance with Jeopardy's actual host, Ken Jennings, who's going to be in the DC area that week. He is going to be the Grand Marshal for the Cherry Blossom Parade. So big activation. They chose American University to drop by. They like engaging with students, of course, and that is going to be on Thursday, April 10th at 12:30 p.m. on our quad. So there's a couple other events here in April that I will draw some attention to when I send in the link. Too much to go over now for my portion, but again, just a quick overview of the different things the Community Relations Office has to offer, and we hope to see you guys. So I will send that in the chat and turn it back over to you guys.
That's great. Do we have any questions? Okay, no questions. I don't see anyone from George Washington, so I'm going to go to Georgetown. Mr. Peterson?
Sorry about that. I had my microphone on a different link, but thank you, Chair Horn. I appreciate it. Couple updates from Georgetown. If you have walked across our campus recently, you have seen that our redevelopment of what was the Henley Village continues, and we are anticipated and on track and on time and on budget for that to open up this fall for fall move-in. Some of the things that are going on right now is they're continuing the masonry and metal panel work. That'll continue through the end of the month. And then they're doing some of the punch lists on the groundwork on levels 4 through 6. And then they have completed the solar panel installations on the roof, and they'll test that through May. The courtyard landscaping will start later this month. And the plantings will be installed scheduled for May. Beyond that, the bioretention hardscaping and site repair along Tondorf Road will continue through May. And as I said before, we are on time and ready for a fall 25 move-in. I'll drop in the chat after this, I'll drop a link if you want to see our time-lapse camera, or a link to an active view of what that site looks like so you can see the two towers. It will add once completed, it will have approximately little over 700 beyond our 5438 will be above 5682 once complete. So it's quite a few beds on campus. If you've also been on the front part of campus, you've watched our utility project, which is really about replacing some aging infrastructure. We have some piping that goes below our campus that is some of it is up to 80 years old. And so we're replacing miles of that piping and changing it to chilled water. So on Copley Lawn, they've actually completed that, installing all the utilities there, and they're going to work to restore the lawn for commencement and reunion, and then they'll work on the next part of it, which will be on a part of Copley Lawn moving into the circle. So there's still some on the front lawn that they will need to do, as well as some work between Healy and Copley Hall that'll remain, which we call Old North Way. The next part of this big project, actually phase 3, begins on June 9th and after reunion weekend, where we will move out onto 37th Street. We've secured our public permits there to replace the piping that comes out of the university down 37th Street, turns left on N, goes through a park, across 36th, and to another part of our property, what we call LXR and Walsh, or East Campus. And so that is the next phase of this project. And there will be proper signage, and we've communicated with ANC2E and with WMATA on the Metro bus stop there, so that they're aware. But I will also drop a link to that if you're interested in that project and how that's progressing and the timeline there, as well as a link to all of our active construction web projects here on campus at the end. Happy to take any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Commissioner Simkowitz.
I have a comment. I have not seen one rat, so thank you very much.
I know you will always give me a good rat update. I did see one the other day. I won't tell you where it was, but I did report it. So,
but we're doing really well on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Peterson. I see Pat Brown here from Wesley. Are you here? Do you have anything other than the discussion we're going to have later about the campus plan?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then we'll catch you then. I see Sherry Rutherford from Field School. Did you have something to report?
No, nothing new to report from the field school, just that we received our order. I think I may have mentioned that last month, that, in a record 7 days after the hearing. So again, thanks to everyone for their support. So we're very happy to be moving forward.
Very good. The German embassy, is this Mr. La Corzana speaking?
Yeah, this is Mr. La Corzana. Nice to have you all here. Today, Kai was not able to be here as he's on holidays, so I will be taking for today. The updates for the German embassy is we have finalized the soil movement phase. Everything that need to be excavated has finalized. We are right now in the full phase of raising the walls. Most of the footings has been done, and we are starting to raising the formwork, finishing rebars, and start pouring when the formworks are finalized. Everything from the German embassy.
Very good. Yes, Commissioner Duncan.
Are you guys, is the project on time, and when do you expect it to open up back up for the staff to use the parking lot?
We are expecting to open on summer. Right now is planned for late summer. It depends if the landscape can be done after or before. The landscape can only be open in certain windows.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much. So I'm going to move to commissioner updates. Commissioner Elkins, do you have an update?
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Duncan?
I would like to inform the community that the Transportation Committee met at the end of last month, and we are diligently working on some safety concerns at an alley at Dana Place, right behind Bamboo. Working with neighbors, and we came up with a lot of good suggestions there. And that is all I have on my list. We do not have a date yet for the next Transportation Committee meeting, but we will be announcing that, and it will be before our next ANC meeting, probably at the end of April.
Very good. Commissioner Blumenthal?
Low on the unmute today. Just one, that we received a placard notice from the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration regarding Bamboo, which will be seeking a renewal of its liquor license. I believe comments are can be taken through May. So just want to flag that, and we will be taking that up in a few months.
Very good. For my report, I just want to say that I've seen a lot of gas-powered blowers operating in the last week or so, and I've reported 2 of them. And I want to encourage people, you know, they were supposed to transition to the electric leaf blowers years ago. So if you see lawn folks using gas-powered leaf blowers, you can either report it to the Consumer Protection Division of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, which if you just Google DC leaf blower complaint, it'll take you to the right place. Or you could email me and I'll do it. That's it. Commissioner Nowak?
I don't have anything at this time.
Very good. Commissioner Simkowitz?
I attended the OAG meeting with BIGA, which is the Board of Ethics, and that was Saturday. It was informative, and I'd recommend all of the other commissioners attend one of these sessions. You learn a lot about ethics and how the OAG operates and how many different facets they have. An elder care division, they have a juvenile division, a civil division where the government is sued, and then the government sues other people. So they act as both a plaintiff and a defendant. I thought it was extremely informative. On the subject that Officer McElwee talked about, my parents' video captured a car break-in in progress. The entire incident took exactly 3 minutes. A car followed a tourist who was visiting the zoo, apparently, back to Jetty's. The car stopped right on Greenwich Parkway and waited for the people to get out, and they waited for about a minute and a half. The family got out to go to Jetty's. The family was not more than 20 feet before the people got out of their car and broke the window and got back in the car and left. It was unbelievable how fast this operated. But the poor family lost a computer, a bag that had sentimental value, and a couple other things. But it was traumatic for the family, and the 3-year-old girl said, "Are you going to get the bad guys?" To me, and I said, "Well, we've got the officers to do that." Unfortunately, Officer McElwee was there, and I can't think of a better officer to console a 3-year-old than Officer McElwee. So we have him to thank.
Thank you. So this is the part of the meeting where the community can raise issues and concerns. If you have an issue that's not already on the agenda and you want to raise it up, this would be the time for that. And I do not see any hands raised because we've got a good agenda going. So let's move on to discussions. Commissioner Duncan, would you kick off the discussion about the Wesley Campus Plan?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman Horn. I'm about to turn it over to Pat Brown, but this is the Wesley Theological Seminary that we all have been involved in for quite some time. He's going to give us an update on where we are, and I believe that if not in May, I'm pretty sure in May we might be voting on one more thing, but I've asked Pat just to give us sort of the state of play in 3 to 4 minutes.
Sure.
Mr. Brown, please take it away.
Thank you, Tricia. Pat Brown, Wesley had a number of events directly involving the campus plan or related. First, the text amendment was approved by the Zoning Commission February 27th. That two parts to that. One provides for an offsite IZ program to be approved as part of the campus plan. And then also clarification that the proposed new dormitory, if approved by the zoning commission, would not be deemed a commercial activity, which has been a contentious issue over the years. On March 5th, we submitted an update to the campus plan. Couple of important changes. One, the top level of the dormitory has been removed. That reduces the size of the building and its visibility from all vantage points. The level of underground parking has been reduced, and we previously indicated that, but we made it official, and that will be part of the plan. Some discussion of the offsite IZ proposal, and just bringing us up to date. The campus plan in its current form has been pending for 2 years, and it's evolved over time. The next step for us would be to file our pre-hearing statement, which is due April 11th. We are, at the suggestion of several people, making it comprehensive rather than an update. So we're going to go through the process A to Z. It's lengthy, but it's basically, given the length of the case, everything will be in one place, currently updated, and for everybody to be in the same place. I put the zoning commission notice placards up Sunday morning. The hearing is May 12th, Monday, May 12th at 4 p.m. It's a virtual hearing. And those who want to participate need to sign up at the OZ website. And if you need some help, I can point you in the right direction there. My expectation is that we'll be back for your May 7th meeting. It'll be after our pre-hearing statement. So you'll have the complete package in front of you. And at that point, we'll be asking for the commission to make take formal action.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you're filing on April 11th, your pre-hearing statement, and then the hearing is scheduled for May 12th.
That's correct.
Okay, so we will be voting on our response to the to your filing on the 11th.
Yeah. And when the pre-hearing statement, and everybody in the commission will get a copy, and anybody who's been a party to the case automatically will get a copy. But we don't need to wait till the ANC meeting to get feedback from that, because obviously if we can respond to questions or make tweaks further, that's in everybody's interest to do that.
And then will you also be having a CLC meeting anytime in there?
Yes, and I think the CLC meeting would occur somewhere between the April 11th filing and the hearing. I'm trying to work out some scheduling issues, and we'd very much like to do another in-person meeting. One, it was long overdue, and two, it was good seeing everybody. And I think it made for a much more productive meeting, being in person rather than sitting behind a bunch of computers. And so I'll be working on a date. We've got to kind of glide around Easter and Passover, but we'll be looking for a date.
Okay, thank you. For those in the audience who are unaware, a CLC is a community liaison committee. They're open to the public for anyone who is interested. So when that is scheduled, we'll be sure to try and spread the word so everyone knows about it. Thank you.
Very good.
And I also, and in the interim, our March 5th filing is on Wesley's website. If you go to Wesley's homepage on their website and you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see master plan updates, and you click on that and you'll see all the filings that have been made, so that you can refer to them there. They're actually probably easier than looking at the OZ website because they're all together rather than broken up into exhibits.
Great, thank you for that.
Very
All right, we're in the home stretch, maybe.
good.
I think so. Things have progress has been made, and we're looking forward to getting through this first phase, which is the plan approval. And as soon as that occurs, we're going to follow up with further processing, which is the final step required.
All right, thank you so much.
Very good. Anyone else had any questions or comments about this? All right, let's move to our official actions. The first one is 4405 Greenwich Parkway, special exceptions. I'm gonna let Commissioner Simkowitz set this up, and then I see Mr. Sullivan is here and hopefully can explain some of this.
Thank you, Commissioner Horn. I'm here to introduce 4405 Greenwich Parkway. It is a plan that Mr. Sullivan will talk about, and Mr. Sullivan is here present, and he has some plans to show us, I hope. I ask for a second.
I second.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. Hi, Commissioners. So this is a special exception for relief from the 10-foot rule. If I could share my screen, I'll show you the plans. It's fairly simple and straightforward and rather minor. And I use that word carefully in this. Here's the property from the front. It's 4405 Greenwich. And so that's the front, but the addition's in the rear. And here's the addition. It's just a one-story addition with the basement here in the back. And all right, let me get to that section again. So, but the reason we need relief, he didn't intend to go to BZA, but due to, I don't know if it's a misreading of the plans or contractor error, he's 8 inches past the 10-foot mark. And so then when he got his wall check, they informed him about that. And so he needs 10-foot rule relief for the 8 inches. So here's the actual dimension here. If you see it proposed, I'm trying to zoom in. I don't know if I can do that, but here, this dimension is 10.67, which is 8 inches. It was supposed to be 10 feet, which would have been matter of right. And it's just 1 story. So we're essentially asking for 8 inches of relief at 1 story. And that's it. He has support from 3 neighbors, including one of the adjacent neighbors. The other one he hasn't heard from. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon.
Anyone
Do we
have
any
questions?
from anyone?
I'm just going to make a general comment here that this is exactly what I'm talking about when we go to the Department of Buildings about builders who build things that are wildly inappropriate, and then some homeowner is 8 inches over for a 10-foot rear side setback, and now they're before the BZA.
I have a comment on that if I could.
Yes, I would love to hear your comment.
Because I think this is entitled to what's called minor deviation relief. The BZA tried to solve that problem by, I guess it was about 20 years ago. They adopted a provision that allows the zoning administrator to grant very tiny relief, no more than a foot. It's either 10% or 2%, depending on the restriction. In this case, it would have worked. This is a rear yard requirement, and it says that minor deviation applies to rear yards, but the zoning administrator said, well, I don't think it applies to 10-foot rule. So usually those little errors are covered by that provision, but this one wasn't. So,
well, with neighbor support, I intend to vote yes on this. Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment or question? All right, I think we should move to voting. So those in favor of approving the letter, which is in favor of these special exceptions, or maybe it's a single special exception. Aye.
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 Okay, that's 6 votes in favor.
Commissioner Horn, the letter says 7, but we have an absentee member today, so it needs to be changed to 6-0-1.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We will do that.
thank
All
you.
right, we'll move to a series of liquor license settlement agreements. So the first one is mine. It's for Et Voila. We have a settlement agreement that basically, as you probably know, Claudia's Table and Et Voila have the same ownership, and we had a settlement agreement with Claudia's Table. And so this settlement agreement is nearly identical to that one. But taking into consideration, if you read it, it explains that there is a prior settlement agreement with Et Voila. So it takes that into consideration. But otherwise, it fits our model settlement agreement. And so I would move that we adopt it. Is there a second? Commissioner Duncan seconds. Are there any questions? I believe the attorney for Et Voila is here, but I'm not sure it's necessary unless anyone has a question for him. Seeing no questions, I'm going to move that we go ahead and vote. All in favor of the Et Voila settlement agreement?
Aye.
Aye.
6 votes in favor. Let's move on to the Bang Bop settlement agreement. Commissioner Nowak.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bang Bop, for those who have not yet visited, is a new restaurant and cafe at the bottom of MacArthur Boulevard where it meets Foxhall. This is, while there was a liquor license with previous establishments for reasons that aren't important here, this is a new liquor license application. We have been in regular conversation with the owner, Mr. YB Bach, And we have agreement on a settlement agreement, which was posted to the website. And so I encourage my fellow commissioners to vote in favor of the settlement agreement. Any questions? Or a second? I guess I need a second for that.
A second is Commissioner Simkowitz seconds. Does anyone have a question or comment about this one? Yes, Commissioner Elkins.
I was concerned that they were going to serve liquor starting at 7 a.m. I don't know who drinks at 7 a.m., but since you know, the people can sit out front and this sort of thing, or be visible in that regard, I would propose that we bring this more into conformity with our settlement agreements, and to make it 10 a.m.
I spoke to the owner about that question today, Commissioner, and he has agreed that he's fine with 10 a.m. That the original application was just put in for the entirety of their open hours, but he's fine to push it back.
That would be good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? So with the understanding that it's now begins at 10 a.m., all in favor of the settlement agreement? 6 votes in favor. That's great. The next one is Claudia's table. Commissioner Blumenthal.
Yes, so in this case, Claudio's table, this is a renewal of their liquor license. And we have a settlement agreement with Claudio's table that was concluded in, I believe, in October of last year for their expansion, which amended an earlier settlement agreement. So I will move their upstanding business and nothing but positive comments, really no comments regarding the renewal. So I want to move that we vote in favor of the letter, which is on the website, to endorse their liquor license renewal.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, Commissioner Duncan seconds. Is there any comments or questions? All right, let's vote on the letter that's in favor of this this liquor license. All in favor? 6 votes in favor.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes.
We have a lot of liquor licenses coming up for renewal, of course, because they do them all at one time. And I think in the past, we have not felt it necessary to write a letter where we are in favor of just a routine, you know, continuation of the liquor license if there are no issues. Of course, if the public wants to raise them with us, they should. And so I'm raising the question of whether going forward we will need to write letters for all of these restaurants that are getting their licenses renewed.
If I could chime in, so this is the Claudio's was the first liquor license renewal that I had sort of come across that we already had a settlement agreement that was, you know, newly done. So I guess we can just also just not comment, and then it's the same.
Right.
That might be easier. But
yes, there are cases where we want to make some changes or have a settlement agreement. That's a whole different issue. And we certainly do need to deal with that. I'm just suggesting where there's no change and we're happy and we have no complaints from the public. I'm suggesting that we not clutter up the ABCA you know, docket with letters that don't really make a difference.
All right, well, we will consider that when we have a bunch of them next month. Let's move on to the Protect Pre-K funding resolution. PKEEP is called. Commissioner Simkowitz, can you explain, please?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Horn. I was asked by Councilmember Fruman to introduce this resolution requesting protecting funding for the PKEEP program for community-based organizations in Ward 3. Many people know that we don't have any pre-K in our schools. We have to rely on these CBOs the community-based organizations to provide that service. While I'm certainly no expert on education, I know that this is a good program and we don't want to lose the funding for it. And I defer to my colleagues who may have more experience in this area, but I ask that we provide our support to our friend Councilmember Fruman so that he can take it from there and he can work with the council on the budget to keep this. And I ask for a second and then a vote.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Commissioner Duncan, is there comment or discussion? It looked like a good letter to me, so let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of this?
And I want to add, this is the
Yes.
same resolution that other commissioners have passed to keep the funding. So we're not the only ones that are here. And I believe he asked this for all the commissions in this area.
Thank you
Great.
for doing that.
Sure.
All right, all in favor of this letter? 6 votes in favor. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the endorsement of vacant to vibrant legislation. Commissioner Elkins.
Yes, we have before us a letter that I'm proposing we adopt with regard to endorsement of this bill before the council, and ask for a second.
Commissioner Simkowitz seconds.
I've been following this issue for a good number of years and have noticed a great deal of frustration on the part of the council chair as well as others. And I've testified several times on this issue that the authority of the what is now called the Department of Buildings to actually make a difference with regard to vacant buildings is very weak. Their authority is weak. They basically can inspect and declare the property to be vacant or blighted, and then they report it to the Office of Tax and Revenue, and the tax rate goes up, which in many cases, of course, is a motivation to the owner to do something about that. But apparently there are a lot of owners who see their investment advantages to be such to just leave it vacant. And many times these become a real nuisance. So finally, the council came around to the idea that maybe we need to give more authority to the mayor to deal with this, and this bill deals with that. I served on a work group that came up with many of these proposals, essentially giving the mayor a number of additional tools. They're listed there in the letter. I think I do then go on in this letter and mention 3 things which I think are potentially things that council members might decide, oh, we don't need this, why don't we throw this away, which I think are very important. And one is the fact that now someone who has a vacant property has to provide a maintenance plan, and someone who's in charge of making sure that that maintenance plan is carried out. So that, for instance, the property that I think are all familiar with, which has been vacant and blighted for almost 8 years, 10 years on Foxhall Road, that's up on stilts. It shouldn't be necessary for people to report that the grass is overgrown. The person who has a maintenance plan on that should have to do that on their own. And why should the city have to mow that grass and then try to recoup the money from the owner? Secondly, there are a number of agencies involved in this, and this bill calls for a strategic plan for melding all of those actions together into something that's effective. And finally, they did, for the first time, include ANCs as major actors in this program, which is good. We have 44 people who are commissioners across the city who've indicated that they want to participate in the ANC caucus on this topic. They don't all show up, of course, at every meeting. Surprise, surprise, but we do have an active caucus, and we have a good working relationship with the Department of Buildings on this issue. So I'm glad the council is recognizing the importance of ANC. So those are the major issues that I'm asking your endorsement for as we go forward. They're going to mark up perhaps as early as April 22nd. And I've been informed by council staff that they would appreciate a letter from us if we are willing to do so.
Very good. Commissioner Nowak?
Yeah, I have a question specifically about the property on Foxhall. The maintenance and the grass mowing aside, I seem to remember that part of the issue with that property is the historic preservation designation. Does the bill do anything that would help remove that status or loosen up those restrictions such that other similarly situated properties that are kind of stuck in this historic preservation loop would be addressed?
No, it does not. I think that there is, in theory, the opportunity for us to go to the Historic Preservation Board and ask for them to reconsider. And I don't have a good sense of what our chances are on that. But I think that that is not the only hang up here. And Commissioner Simkowitz may want to elaborate on this, but basically there is a financial problem because anybody who buys this property is coming out of bankruptcy. Anybody who buys it is stuck with a very big tax bill, plus all the development costs. The idea is to keep the farmhouse as it now exists and to build behind it. That was what the previous developer was going to do. That is technically possible, I believe, but it's financially difficult. This new bill does provide for the ability for the district to give some tax relief, to give an investment credit, et cetera. So there are economic incentives provided that the person comes forward with a plan to get this house ultimately developed. And I think that's probably what we all wish would happen, that they would take it down off the stilts, build something behind it that is appropriate, and not have to deal with the historic preservation issue if they don't have to, because I think our chances on that are not as great as just getting them to build what the previous developer planned to do. So I see my colleague here, who this property is now in JP's jurisdiction, and he's been looking at that.
So I'll give you an update. The reason why this property is still blighted is because the property's in bankruptcy, and every few months I pull the bankruptcy case, and it's still sitting there. And you know, it's something that we should have to move forward on, but we can't do anything as a city until the bankruptcy court releases that house from the protections. So nothing's going to happen. It's beyond our control. It's beyond the mayor's control. We're just sort of stuck.
But when it does come out of bankruptcy, I think if this bill passes, there will be some authorities that we might want to consider going to the city and saying, do we have a case for you? Why don't we?
Yeah. I mean, in terms, it seems like we would be able to get them to clean it up, but I think if the historic preservation, you know, albatross is still hanging around, then it seems to me there's not a great resolution in sight because of the non-economic issue of the old house. So.
Well, in theory, the city can go in there and trim the grass because that's a power that the city can have.
Yeah.
Protect the other neighbors. Mr. Dwyer has complained to us all the time about the rats and the snakes and the mice and whatever growing underneath that house. The city can do that. So if you notice that it's getting too high, please give me a call and I'll send the city out on that.
Okay.
But I think the real issue that you're raising is, can we get this house so that it is a normal part of our neighborhood? And I think that if it can be made economically possible, perhaps by some, I would argue, tax relief from the city, I believe the previous idea of taking that house as it is, taking it down off the stilts, making, painting it up and building something nice behind it, would make a nice residence. And that the whole issue is whether it's economically feasible, and the city has the ability to perhaps give some economic incentives for that, just to get it. And I think I personally am in favor of getting it fixed as opposed to just driving it back into bankruptcy again. So even if it means giving the new developer some tax relief.
Very good. So if there's no other comments, let's vote on the vacant to vibrant legislation letter. All in favor? 6 votes in favor. Great. So we're moving to the last official action on our agenda, which is Millie's liquor license settlement agreement. Commissioner Duncan.
Yes, I am going to start with a motion on the floor, and we might have a broad discussion here, depending on if people from the public are here to speak. But the motion on the floor is to approve the new settlement agreement between Millie's and the ANC. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Noack seconds.
So as I let the other commissioners know when I sent this around, Millie's has been open for almost 9 years now, and they're a very successful restaurant in Spring Valley. And they had a original settlement agreement that was between the ANC, Millie's, and a group of at least 5 people. If anyone took the ABCA liquor license training, you will know that liquor licenses can be opposed by 5 or more residents. I was not around when Millie's opened, but it seems when I looked at the history, there was concerns that Millie's might not be something that would fit into Spring Valley, but I think that we all would agree that it is now an institution in Spring Valley and it is a big asset to the neighborhood. A lot of the things that we have in our new, more standardized settlement agreement includes the rat control, which is very important to us. And the other things I wanted to point out that are different from the old agreement, there was a prohibition on tents, but since COVID, the city has encouraged outdoor tenting, particularly for people who are worried about the transmission of viruses. I also moved their liquor license start time to 10 a.m., as is every single restaurant within our ANC. And I kept in the things that were negotiated with the neighborhood originally, and that is around parking around the establishment, promotions, and that they can't have sound that emanates from their property past 10 p.m. So now I'm going to open it up for questions if anyone has any questions.
Are there any commissioners? Are there anyone in the audience here to talk about Millie's? I see no one raising their hand. So
I do feel a responsibility to fill in the gaps of some other things that are going on. We are have a deadline right now of May 5th to get our new settlement agreement in. Our settlement agreement that we approve here will be in addition to the one that already exists. The only way a settlement agreement can be terminated is if ABCA does it. I believe that some of that original group, I know this for sure, they wrote me today, and they want to remain on the agreement. And that agreement does exist, and it has to be terminated by ABCA. But I am asking our commission to treat Millie's the same that we treat every other business in our neighborhood and have the settlement agreement between the ANC and the business and not a third party. And I do have reasons for that. I'll just give you an example. So let's say a business wants to come along and do a change to their business. So let's say Claudio's Table comes along and they say, oh, I want to do wine tastings every month from this Italian vineyard that comes to town. They would have to get a change in their operations with ABCA. If you have a settlement agreement that is with just a few neighbors and the ANC, I feel like you're disadvantaging the entire neighborhood with something that they might think is a good change in operations with just a few members of the community that could put a stop to that. I think it gives them outside influence. And I totally understand why this was put in place when the business was first starting, because nobody knew what it was going to be. But now we totally know what Millie's is. They've been operating for 9 years in virtually the same way.
All right, there is a hand raised. Go ahead, Commissioner Elkins.
I'm thinking maybe ask whether a friendly amendment would be to say that based on our experience now with Millie's over these 9 years, that we ask ABCA to terminate the earlier settlement agreement and substitute this one.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I have drafted a letter and it is on our website. So I was going to, we could vote on them together. We could pull it up and I could read you the letter. It's very, very short. But there is a settlement agreement and there is a cover letter there that does say that we are in favor of terminating the original agreement and substituting this agreement. That is my intention.
I didn't realize that. That would be excellent. I would be in favor of that.
Okay, I see a hand raised. Mr. Clarkson?
Yes, thank you so much. And I just want to say, it was William Clarkson, Spring Valley Neighborhood Association. We were involved early on with various ABCA issues related to Millie's, also with the Pizzeria Paradiso liquor license, or ABCA license renewal in 2018 and 2019. So, I just want to say with Millie's, yet again, they've been a great partner. They're a great asset to the community. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that would say otherwise. I know there are a few, including those that are going to petition this probably, but I think this is a great result. I really support. I support the action that Commissioner Duncan is proposing and that Chuck just echoed, because I think the ANC does represent the community. We're having this discussion transparently, openly, where community concerns can be addressed, where support can be expressed, opposition can be expressed. And I think that, and having that input from the whole community is really important. And so I think that the way you're approaching this is right on target. One thing I would ask is that, if a protest is filed, well, first, could the public see the original petition, specifically from this group of 30? I can do a FOIA request, but if it's public, if it's on the public record, it'd be great to publish that in the name of transparency. And also, if there are any, if there's a petition in opposition filed prior to the May 5th hearing or deadline, that be published and disclosed on the ANC website.
So I can tell you that when there is a group that opposes a liquor license, ABCA encourages all of the parties to mediate and come together. And there is Mr. Banks is here from Millie's, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that a part of those negotiations for them from withdrawing their opposition, they were added to the settlement agreement. So I don't know if there is like a record, but I can tell you that we can post on our website if an objection is made. And I would also like to state for the record that May 5th is our deadline, so I'm bringing it up tonight because our next meeting is on May 7th. But this group of neighbors does have till May 5th to negotiate with Millie's, talk to them. It's not as if they don't still have a voice here.
Right. I just think it's not surprising, but it is telling that none of them are here out of this group of 30 are here tonight to express their views in a transparent fashion to the whole community? I hope there are. Maybe
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
I missed it, but I would love to
Yeah.
hear from them as well.
Yeah, actually, we have someone who's on the phone, and so they're not able to raise their hand. But let me call on Carrie Mahan to jump in here. Ms. Mahan, you're on the phone, right?
She may need to do *7, I think, to unmute.
Forgive me, guys. This is Carrie Mahan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Terrific. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. As someone that's lived in the Palisades for almost 30 years, and I currently operate my second business in the Palisades, I just want to echo in support from the citizens of the Palisades of what Commissioner Duncan has outlined and Chairman Elkins has outlined. It really is. I understand how it came about, but it really is just too much to ask a business to deal not only with the ANC, who is speaking on behalf of the entire community, but to add private individuals to agreements with the government, I think it should be amended. So that's all I wanted to say. We didn't have any kind of Palisades citizens speaking, so I want to put my voice on the record in support of amending the settlement agreement.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Elkins?
I wanted to say, wait, one comment and then ask a question. I was involved as a commissioner when there was a dispute between the party of 30 and the ANC with regard to Millie's having to do with tenting and this sort of thing. And it was quite difficult because there really wasn't a good forum in which to try to reach agreement. And it was, I agree with everything that Commissioner Duncan has said about that it's, I believe, it's favorable to have the forum be an ANC meeting like this in which issues can be discussed and then ultimately a decision is made on behalf of the entire community. And that's why I do support the idea of substituting this settlement agreement for the previous one. My question is this: procedurally, I'm not sure what if the group of 30, if they exercise their right to protest, do we need to take some steps in order to be parties to that protest? The fact that we're filing a letter, does that give us the ability to be a party to the protest? And if not, I would suggest we put something in or authorize the chair on behalf of the commission, if there is a protest, to go ahead and lodge or enter us as a party. I'm not sure what it is, some kind of enter us as a party to the protest.
I'm going to take that as a friendly amendment, and I will put a sentence in our letter that says that if this goes to a protest, we request to be a party. But I'll be keeping on top of it. And Millie's has applied to have the agreement terminated, so ABCA is aware that this is all going on.
Could we add to the resolution we adopt tonight that we authorize the chairman to take whatever steps may be necessary in order to give us legal rights before the ABCA with regard to any possible protest, just so that we can be a party, not necessarily to disagree with a group of 30, but simply to be at the table. But we haven't heard their protests, if they do have one, so we need to hear it and whatever. But just to make sure that because the letter may not suffice, Commissioner Duncan.
Can I ask a question, a procedural question? Isn't the purpose of the settlement agreement to be evidence that we have reached an agreement with the owners of the business and therefore are lending our support to their license or their renewal in this case? Isn't that de facto making us a party to the case?
Well, ABCA rules are pretty complex, and it certainly makes common sense, as you say. The question is whether legally we might find ourselves outside the door.
This is Eamon Banks. I don't know how to raise my hand on the Zoom. May I step in for a moment?
Yes, go ahead.
Good. Hey, thank you very much for having me on today, and I thank all the commissioners and the ANC board. Um, what Mr. Elkin said is correct, and the settlement agreement would be between your ANC and Millie and APCO. The difference is that the settlement agreement that we currently have, back when we opened, is that the group of 30 is on there with the stipulations that we came to the table with. And I know that was contentious back then, but when I'm the one that applied for the amendment of the settlement agreement. What I put in was that the ANC, your ANC, had these ideas, and to replace the settlement agreement and not to terminate it. So you would have a seat at the table if it had to go to APCO.
Excellent. But I will still take that as a friendly amendment that we will have we authorize Bernie to make sure that we have a seat at the table. And I would also like to thank Carrie Mahan for her comments, because not only is she a resident and a patron of all of our restaurants, but she's also a business owner. And I think that was a very good, unique perspective. Thank you.
Very good. Is there any other comments about this, or shall we bring this to a vote?
Call the
Let's bring it to a vote. Okay. All in favor of the settlement agreement and the letter? Aye. 6 votes in favor. Very good. Let's move from official actions to commission business. The treasurer's report. Commissioner Elkins.
Yes, we're at the end of the second quarter of the fiscal year, which began, as we all know, in October. And so the second quarter ended on May 31st, and you have before you our report on our finances. You'll see that during this quarter, we've received three of our allocations from the city. We normally get 4 during the year. There was some delay in processing some of them, so don't expect this windfall to continue quarter by quarter. This is basically 3/4 of our money that we need to spend for the entire fiscal year. Secondly, we had our normal expenses, namely our administrator and our transcriber. But we also had, as you know, our $2,000 investment in Go Vocal. So that's what you see there as an additional expenditure. We have, as you see, almost $35,000 in the checking account, but I also want to tell you how much we have in our savings account, which just doesn't show very well. It is approximately $45,000. When I came on the commission, we had basically 0 savings, and through some good work of our treasurers, we've been able to cut our expenses and been able to get that $45,000 saved up. I would say that we have 2 grants outstanding, and one of them is coming in due now, and another one soon, and so we'll be paying those. But otherwise, I think we're in good financial shape, and we are spending according to our budget. So we are on track.
Very good.
So I ask for approval of these. I ask for a second and an approval of our QFR so we can submit it forward to the people downtown.
Is there a second? Commissioner Blumenthal is seconds. If there's any other conversation about this, let's vote. All in favor of approving the quarterly report? 6 votes in favor. Thank you very much. Let's move to the Transportation Committee co-chair. Commissioner Duncan, can you take this?
Yes, I am making a motion to approve Andrew Heimert as co-chair of the Transportation Committee. Do I have a second? Commissioner Elkins? Okay. So, as you all know, Commissioner Elkins and Mr. Derry Allen ran this committee for a really long time, and I served on it for a good 2 years, and I am now chairman, and I am quickly realizing that it is very helpful to have a co-chair. And after discussions with Derry and Commissioner Elkins, Andrew Heimert has just been a stalwart and a super hard worker, and he reads every plan and looks at every gutter and stanchion, and he seemed like a natural fit. He and I also get along very, very well. So I hope you will approve this. I believe it needs to be approved by the commission because it's a chair of one of our subcommittees. So is there any discussion? Do I have any comments or questions? Commissioner Elkins.
I wanted to say that Andrew has been a very strong member of the committee during these years while I was serving as co-chair, and I strongly support his going forward as co-chair, and I think he will be very strong together with Commissioner Duncan to continue the good work of the committee.
Thank you. And he regrets that he can't be here tonight.
I just say I completely agree. I've been on the Transportation Committee for the 5 or 6 years that it's existed, and other than Chuck and Derry, no one works harder and has put in more. No one has put in more time, I think, cumulatively than Andrew.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Very good. Any other comments? All right, let's vote. Those in favor of making Andrew the co-chair of the Transportation Committee? 6 votes in favor. Very good. Let's move to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Nowak.
Thank you. The minutes have been reviewed by commissioners and posted to the website. So may I have a second to approve the meeting minutes as published?
Commissioner Blumenthal seconds.
Any questions or comments that have not already been discussed and amended? Okay, I would ask we call the question.
All right, all in favor? 6 votes in favor of approving the minutes. So that is pretty much the agenda. The notice of the next meeting is May 7th, online again. Is there anything else before we adjourn the meeting? It's not even quite 8:30, so we've moved right along. And
well done, Chairman.
Well, it's not the chairman. It's that everyone has been prepared with their pieces, and one after another, they've gone very well. So thank you all. And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.